In this part 2 video, I'm going to go into advanced level tears. So what are advanced level tears? So tears are creations of the enemy for spiritual warfare purposes. So creations that the kingdom of darkness has created and infiltrated in human form for their purposes, to steal soul parts, to infiltrate the vessel of these human beings. Okay, so in part 1, I went over fallen states, separated from God, fallen states, and I went over the vertical split. So the primary making of a tear, kind of that level 1 worst case scenario of making a tear. Why? Because if the enemy can get somebody in that split mirrored state, which is a mirror of that state of good and evil, that fallen state, separated from God, cut off from God, without the protection of God, which is a mirrored state, this vertical split, which I went over in the last video, part 1, I suggest go back and look at it. This split, vertical split, a complete slicing of the mind, which is a mirror to this good and evil state, which is a very bad predicament, worst case predicament to be in, because this good and evil state is a level 1. There are some kind of things I had left out in the last video. I went over level 1, level 2 states of oppression and possession as it refers to these states of sin, into a split state of the soul of our mind, because of course we're physical beings made of dust, and the enemy is constantly trying to get us into these further separated from our creator, to where the enemy can infiltrate, overtake, deceive, split our soul for a soul grab, for a deception, for more splitting of the mind. It is a fight for the soul, a constant war for our soul parts, right? So it's kind of a wake up that our soul parts are, there's a war for that, right? So to get human beings into these further split fallen states is the objective of the enemy. That is their tactics. So this state 1 is a sin state, which I went over last time. 2 would be trauma wounds. But what I did not cover is rank of demonic spirits, okay, in the heavenlies or in the celestials. So demonic spirits have rank, right? So you can kind of consider this primary sin state as low-ranking demons, and higher-ranking demons, which I'll go over in this video, because we're discussing, again, the creation of tears, right? So the last video, I went into worst-case scenario of what would be a complete slice, and this mirror of a complete separation, which is this good and evil state, because this good and evil state is a complete shutoff, a complete separation from our creator. So this vertical slice, this vertical split from 1 to 3 is the primary start of a tear, which all demonic spirits, principalities, demonic spirits, all demonic spirits are aiming for. And you will see in hierarchical bloodlines, all bloodlines. So you're going to see it in this video. But what you're also going to see in this video is more advanced levels of tears. So, as far as higher ranking demonic spirits is what you'll see operating in these further making of tears. So these primary, so you'll kind of see, because we're going to go kind of one in a kind of order, right, to follow. We have this order as this sin state being 1, okay? So you have this person who's in this fallen state of good and evil, right? Just operating in sin, can be oppressed. And if keep going further, go into possession, right? Yes. This is a fallen state of good and evil. Let's not be confused on that. But in terms of creating terrors, what you will see is this vertical split. It can be a one-off, but that's kind of hard to achieve for demonic spirits or other terrors who target a human vessel. It can be done, but they're trying to target this person from 1 to 3 years old, right? So what you'll often see this done is in families, cult families, just generational families, sick bloodlines, to where this is a repetitive cycle. And you'll see a lot of these people with this vertical split in place, right? So hierarchical families, all in the same bloodline with this vertical split from 1 to 3 years old in place. So you'll see that one in place from 1 to 3. This one is considered, need another color, a level 2 trauma wound, okay? And that level 2, level 1 is a good and evil sin state, low ranking demons, right? In that level, you will see more kind of low ranking demonic spirits that need a body, oppression level. In this vertical split, you're going to see more demons, kind of higher ranking. They'll say, you know, I brought my friends, or I brought 7 other demons, higher ranking demons. In this video, I'm going over tears, advanced level tears, and more principalities. So you're going to see level 3, okay? So we're going over 3. These 2 horizontal splits. So we're talking about tears. So in kind of spy warfare, the first horizontal split, and in this term, because we went over from 1 to 3 years old, in the vertical split is that the enemy is always trying to go after any weak points, any chinks in the armor, in creating a tear, right? So these are ages. Okay, so these 2 separate horizontal splits. So this split. So the complex issue is if this vertical splitting of the mind, meaning a fracture of the mind where a demonic spirit was able to enter, is in place, could be in place with also more splitting, right? So if this level 2 split is in place, this person is already has a possession at a level 2, is already kind of considered a tear. However, this person may be able, if these horizontal splits are not in place, then this person who just has this vertical split, God can send in angelic people to nurture this person who's been attacked and just has the level 2 possession, to try and get this person out of that situation. But the kingdom of darkness will be sending in their terrors, their demonic people, to try and further compromise this person. Okay, so this attack, this war will be going on. Okay, so this vertical split may not be in place, and you just have these horizontal splits. Okay. So, this horizontal split 1, at these ages, say the enemy attacks this person here or here. In these cases, this person has they attack through so much trauma, pain, abuse, that these people split in this state of good and evil, right? It's so much trauma that it's duality. It's a split state of mind. The person's soul fractures, the mind fractures. And in these cases, as people refer to as a multiple or a split person, a split identity disorder, dissociative, the person, it's too much trauma for them, and that person disassociates, meaning the trauma is too much for them, so they check out, right? Or what it also can be referred to as soul theft, meaning the person that's attacked or that abuse that the person goes through. But in this case, it being this horizontal split is homemade. So this person creates their own identities, right? So this person will, by their own logic and their own imagination, create their own identities, right? Create their own story, their own logic. This person who has this vertical split in place, the story has been written by the spirit, okay? Their soul parts, most of it on this vertical split has been completely, it's all their soul parts have been lost, are stolen, right? This has been a complete takeover on this vertical split. There's only just a little bit of these soul parts because done at such an early age. But this person has much more parts there to fight against if enough damage is done for a spirit to come in and this person creates separate identities. Okay. And some of these identities that have been fractured so much that this person is so damaged that it takes this person into such a fallen state. And this person, mind is so unwhole from this holy, connected to God state that this person can easily fall into suicide and some of these parts, but it can be enough that demonic spirits are able to enter and fracture this person's mind, right? So if this homemade split is this person has identities that they created, right? But some of these identities can be demonically taken over because of the trauma. So this person may have this vertical split in place, but then they also have a demonic. One of the personalities has been compromised too. So they'll have a compromise here as well as here. Okay. So what the enemy is doing is attacking this person at multiple access points. So the enemy is going to continue to keep attacking at any point. So the God is going to try to help this person, but the enemy is going to keep at any time that they can through another tear, through another human being, to keep attacking through other vessels, to cause as much damage to this person into a total, multiple, or split personality disorder at any of these points, to create one of these personalities and get some of these personalities to fall into very dark places. So hopefully some of these personalities may fall into the occult, or, you can get some of these personalities to do, because these personalities are separated from these other parts. But if this homemade personality doesn't have the vertical split in place, then these parts can, so if this vertical split isn't in place, if it is in place and this is here, and these parts are corrupted, this is a tear. 100% this is a tear. Because there's no parts to be able to come back from that. This person has been compromised. Because there's no parts almost here to come back from that. And then if any of these parts have been compromised, there's no parts to come back from that situation. So, but if this vertical split is not in place, then these other parts can come against. A demonic spirit that has kind of come in and taken over this person, and this person may just be sick of falling in this downward spiral. And the other parts of this person will think to itself, I'm done living this way. I'm going to go seek counseling. I'm going to go seek ministry. I'm getting out of this situation, and come against that one personality, that one demonic spirit that keeps coming up and trying to control that person. And the other parts will come in and have reign over that. Okay, so this is the homemade split personality that is often seen. Okay, but this horizontal split is not homemade. So this tear here is engineered. And this tear you would see in hierarchical bloodlines. So this tear you also see in more fallen bloodlines. So level 3 principalities would be infiltrating this type of a tear. So this one is going to be your worst case type tear. So in terms of enemy warfare, this engineered tear, you will really more see this one with the vertical split in place. You'll see this one. It doesn't have to have a vertical split in place, but because most of the time, this type of a tear will be from a cyclical bloodline, a bloodline that sometimes dates back to a fallen bloodline or a bloodline that's been engineered, or monitoring spirits have been controlling that bloodline, or that bloodline has got a lot of generational curses on the bloodline. Those demonic spirits don't want to let that bloodline go. There's curses on the bloodline. These engineered tears are from hierarchical bloodlines back to fallen angels. They date back to ancient bloodlines. They're controlled. They're in covens. They're run by black magic witchcraft. But the people who have these splits are very low ranking in the family. Why? Because the person who gets split like this has been pacified. And what do I mean by that? So if they have been pacified like this, if they have been, their mind has been split like this, then they have suffered so much abuse and so much trauma by an abuser in their family that abuser had not been split like this. Okay, so these multiple personalities, this person has been so fractured, so split, so this split state of good and evil, this split state of duality is a slicing. It is a split state of God. It is a total mirror of wholeness. It is a complete cutoff from God, right? So to slice somebody's mind and be so fractured into being almost a fragmented state is a pacified state, meaning this person is so unhealthy in all their parts of their brain, there's nothing whole there, right? So somebody had to take full control and do so much abuse in such ways that this person has been so controlled and so pacified that there has to be a dominant figure over this person, that this person is in a state of submission. So this person will almost in all cases have this primary split in place because they're in a generational line of this type of bloodline, and probably have been split by a person who, and I'll go over this in another video, who is a psychopath, or is just in this type of bloodline or in this type of dynamic. And these splits are engineered. And some of these splits, and when they split this person, it's done very harsh. Get a different color. And some of these splits are done, some of these splits are cover splits, meaning they're done as cloak personalities, or they're done as just as pacified personalities. So the person that you see as a host is the I wouldn't hurt a fly personality. That person is that angel of light personality. They're your neighbor who is the one you would never suspect type personality. It is the wheat and the tare parable situation where they're made to be undetected, looks even more probably like the wheat than the wheat looks like the wheat, right? Very soft, very loving, very kind, probably makes the pie. This type of personality would be one in there. In this type of a tear is what we're talking about. Would be one of them, right? In this engineered type of a tear. Some of these others would be other types. It's like too much to name here. Okay. So, but of course, in order to get this type of tear in place, some of these personalities are made by satanic ritual abuse. Okay. So there would be rituals involved. There would be blood sacrifice involved. Okay. There would be rituals involved to create a demonic spirit to be able to come in through the vessel. Because, of course, you need a person to facilitate that demonic spirit to enter in and infuse with this person, to where this person has been so abused and so much trauma has happened that this person is split into a split personality, split good and evil, split personality, and they've fractured this person, but at the same time, this person, a ritual was done, a blood ritual to invoke and energize this person with a demonic spirit. So one of these personalities will be a very pacified, kind personality, and another one will be a tear, a demonically energized tear with an actual demonic spirit. Okay, so these personalities can be many and can be energized. And so normally, because of the dynamics of these bloodlines, and because these people normally date back from, again, hierarchical fallen angel, fallen spirit, or maybe practicing in dark magic or the occult bloodlines, or maybe even get recruited to just be involved in this type of a situation, or this had been done to them, and so they pass this along to their offspring. So this is just something one of their parts do this or is energized. So they do it to the next child. And this situation has been going on generationally to create terrors through this long process. Okay, so this, of course, is a tear, obviously. So this alone is a tear, and this person doesn't need to be a psychopath or anything. They have this here. These, obviously, things are in place, and these, without really having to go into any further explanation, these are enemy tears. So these are engineered tears that are considered really, like, to the parable as it states. You can't tell the difference between the wheat and the tare. That's going to be this horizontal splitting video on advanced tears. I will have another video where I kind of go into the ones creating these tears. And these tears are the ones who are going to be possessed by the higher ranking. So the ones energized by these guys are going to be your principalities for end times warfare, and for, you're going to see in like higher governments and running kind of anything that's like important. You'll see these types of tears planted that do jobs that are, these tears will, these personalities here. Yeah, just many of these personalities will be trained to take on roles, highly sophisticated roles in government. And those principalities, those fallen spirits, are, because this is a level 3 possession, and these soul parts that have been stolen from these people by these high-ranking spirits, level 3, are able to enter this type of terror, enter and control this vessel, and come in and do these roles in areas that take over very strategic places in military organizations, and to handle spiritual warfare that is very high level. So that is the horizontal split. And of course, when you have these two in place, you're dealing with this is the, and it's not really the dark triad personality, it's much worse than that. I'll go in another video and explain the dark triad personality is the people who operate these tears, which are much worse, because this person is the actual person themselves that is under the spirit that is hijacked this person, is a very pacified human being, the actual person themselves. But the person who run this person is the dark triad, the dark triad personality. And I'll go over that in another video. So thanks for watching this video and stay tuned for the next video.